Yo, what's going on, everybody? We are live, and I'm set up in the other room, but this laptop's in here, so we're operating out of here. How the hell are you doing, Tools of Souls?
Shaka Brada. No, I'm good.
Hey,
Oh my.
I don't know. We call it Snowmageddon over here in Texas, but everyone is very familiar with what happened. Uh, feels a lot sooner than 2 years ago. I think it was about 2 years ago, though. Our grid went down,
Mhm.
and I, of all people, was not prepared. And now we are. So we got the stuff to help you guys out. And we're going to show you what you need, how to connect things safely, how to tell if something's pulling too much load, what will actually be able to handle your needs to heat your house, how to bypass things, and just in general, a lot of things that you might want to get now and have. So,
I like it. I'm going to tell you I'll provide you guys with some tips that I learned from a childhood of poverty on how to stay warm and take care of stuff while you were cold.
yeah, while you do that, I'm going to take myself off of here, get set up in there. I'm already set up. It's right here, but the microphones attack each other. So here we go.
All right. Now that he's gone, let's have a frank discussion about how this is
Oh, I'm not gone.
how this is going to go. First of all, no idea what he's going to say or do. So this should be interesting. But I was poor as a kid. Just take it from me. I get you through Snowmageddon. 2 to 4 inches of snow here in Missouri. My brother got 6 feet Thanksgiving week. Robert G with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Robert. And he says, yo. I think we should all lead a sing along of Hoist the Colors from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Thank you for that, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
And SZO Panther says, I'm here. Howdy, Panther.
That was very generous of you. Thank you so much. Hey, this thing's $20. I'm sure it was in one of your videos, but I've just been dying lately. So I haven't been out and about. But yeah, $20. We'll see how tonight goes. We might build it. You might get to see what happens when a monkey does something to a coconut. But yeah, first and foremost, this is pretty much what saved my life. So you know what I got to do, actually?
That looks like an inverter.
Yeah, I've got a.
Was that a 60-watt panel?
Yeah, we got to turn this. We got to turn this AC off. Actually, you know what? No, if I pull that, it won't matter because it's on a time. Yeah, so this is what kept me out of trouble. Whenever we lost power, my grandma was living with me. She's getting up towards her 90s, and we were without power for almost 3 days. And the third day is when I hooked this up. Probably about a day and a half. We were out for about 3 days. I went a whole day and a half without power. We finally hooked this thing up. We had so many blankets on her, she couldn't even breathe. She goes, "Hey, put more blankets on." It's like, you literally don't have any rise in your chest right now. You can't put any more blankets on you. So this came from Harbor Freight. Of course, it's the Jupiter brand. And what's good about this is the high wattage. So this is 4,000 watts.
Wow.
Of power. 2,000 continuous, 4,000 peak. Now, what does that peak mean? That's what we talked about. I've shown it a couple of times, especially in the lives, where when you turn a motor on, you have that increase in amperage, and then it levels back down to a normal level. So if you recall, when we're doing our vacuum, we had a 10 amp load on the vacuum. The peak inrush, whenever we took our line splitter here, was almost 40, almost 4 times. So obviously you got 20 amp breakers, 10 amp load. you're seeing 40 amps just momentarily while the motor ramps up. That's why you have capacitors on motors, AC motors, things like that, to help that motor get a kickstart on, because it's a lot of torque and things to overcome to start that motor from zero.
Yes.
Man, that heater is never gonna. Is it loud or not? Is this phone got good noise canceling?
Nah, you're good.
No, dang, I could have left it on. Okay, whatever. It's off now. So, yeah, that's what the peak is. So that's why you want peak in certain things. The other thing here, hook these up to your truck, your car, or whatever you got, and run an extension cord out. That's what I did, and then I just ran straight to the switch that controls my AC unit. Now, let me backtrack that. Not my AC unit. So,
Your
furnace.
furnace.
When you have a gas furnace, the only real load on your electrical system is the actual fan. It doesn't use heat strips. It doesn't use a compressor unless it's going to be a heat pump. In my case, I've got natural gas that feeds my furnace, and then a fan to blow the hot air around. That's all it is. So my total load, because I had a multimeter, you want to get a clamping multimeter before you need one. The your inline meters really aren't going to work good for that. This is the safest way to do it. Get your clamping multimeter and an inline splitter, or you can get this thing. We're going to play with this thing in a minute. This will tell you everything you want to know about whatever you're plugged into here. So your amperage, your voltage, your wattage, does all the calculations for you. It'll tell you how much you're using per month if you were to take your kilowatts and divide it by all the things. So you can figure out a lot with this tool. And yeah, definitely get one of these before you need one.
Another $5 super chat from SEO Panther says, since I know Souls didn't share, I don't even know what you're talking about. Also glad I found your channel tactics. There you go. And I will tell you guys, Home Depot has started to clearance out a lot of their Klein products, and they're getting hard to find. But one of the things that they have started to put on clearance is that clamping multimeter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That explains. I was
pick it
just at Home Depot today, and I could not find any needle nose Journeyman series or standard series. I just couldn't find any.
I think you can I think you can pick it up for under $25
If they're still there.
if they're still there.
Are they clearancing because they're not going to be available and they're just tired of trying to keep up with it, or?
I have no idea. I just I go into Home Depot quite a bit, so as you can imagine, I find things out. That is one of the things that I do know, is that they're starting to clearance out those products. Whether it's to replace them with something new or what, I have no idea.
Nice. Good to know. Thank you. So, alligator clamps. This looks like it's at least number 4. This is what you call a finder strand, just like what you would have for like amplifier cables or something. So this isn't your standard THWN kind of cable. This is almost more of a cord. So
Yeah.
this will accept more amperage than a standard home wiring number 4 in the code book. That exact number, you'd have to go to like a marine chart to figure out what that is. What you got?
We have a superstar in our midst right now. The Wolfman himself, Jonathan Sherwood, is here tonight.
What's up, Jonathan? So, yeah, go if you're trying to find out what your fine strand cable is good for, go to a marine chart. Just type in marine wire, and that'll get you a pretty good estimate to figure out. Number 4 is good for 70 amps all day. I would feel comfortable enough to run this if I needed to, possibly 80 amps on this. Now, keep in mind, on the other side of this, on the inverter, you're not going to get 80 amps. You're only going to get 2,000 divided by 120. So you're going to get a standard size circuit. So, yeah, just keep that in mind.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing here,
Well,
cord.
thanks, Jonathan.
By the time you need these, man, they're already sold out.
On sale
There was all
Lowe's.
kinds of heaters and stuff at Home Depot. We're expecting a 8-degree or 10-degree Friday into the weekend. We're gonna have the coldest weekend we've had in a long time, and probably the coldest Christmas ever. This is got your ground, your neutral, and 2 hots. Same thing here, and that'll go into get off me.
Generator.
A generator, and not just any generator. This is a dual fuel generator. Now, Souls has a good deal on a generator for you.
As a matter of fact, there is a it's a Black Max generator at Walmart. They always have it along the back wall near their air conditioning supplies and heaters and whatnot, but it's tucked away. It's I want to say it's a 6,500 watt unit for under $400.
Dude, that's really good because I got this during the crazy 2020 for 500, I think, which isn't bad, but it's not 4,400 watts. Again, do your math, divide that by 240 in this case, because not 120, because we're going out 240, and that'll get you a 30 amp cable, which is what we have. We have 30 amp cord, and it's going to tell you what it has, but this is only going to give me about 30 amps. But this can backfeed your house safely if you do it safely. We'll get into that another time. But yeah, it gets you a double pole breaker, an interlock, and this can feed your house. It's important to turn off. I hate to say this, it's really recommended to turn off the breaker, all the breakers in your panel, really, whenever you're backfeeding. If you're not interested in that circuit being on, just turn off all the breakers because, you literally have voltage on a continuous bus. So once whatever you've fed, it has a chance to be on.
Mhm.
And that's a good way to accidentally overload your generator or your wire or whatever it is. And just be aware of what else is on in your house whenever you do backfeed. And that's where this next thing comes into play.
So Jonathan Sherwood says, you guys have any blackouts in your areas? I can tell you
We don't have rolling blocks, no. So here's the thing, right? A lot of people say bad things about Texas's grid. There's a lot of good and a lot of bad. We are completely independent for the most part. So we don't rely on anybody. We have ourselves. Now, that's good and bad. There's different politics and other things involved with the reason why we have that. But essentially we're not tied to anybody else. So we don't participate in rolling blackouts. We don't participate in any of that other BS. For the most part, we have 100% energy at all times. We don't really have a time in the summer whether you get texts to say, hey, we're turning off in between this time and this time. Now we do get that whenever they start to turn off the grid when it's cold. And that was unprecedented, but for the most part. But yeah, during the summer, that's not a thing. So as far as like scheduled blackouts, no, but during extreme weather times, in the winter, yeah, we've experienced that before.
So I live in Missouri. We always are getting some kind of weather extreme here, whether it's high winds, tornadoes, high heat, or extreme cold. We don't do any of that. We just let her go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice. And my local power company is a co-op, so they don't have to check with anything or anybody. They just kind of do what they do, and they get part of they actually get part of their power from a 3/4 megawatt project.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting, man. When our power went out, they pretty much picked and chose who was going to have power.
That's a good deal, Jamie.
and you had like, let's just say that's the parking lot, and then that's the cross streets, right? That'll work. And Taco Bell is here, and McDonald's was here.
And the toilet is in between the two of them.
Well, no, there's just one giant toilet.
Oh, that's Taco Hell, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Paul W.
They literally didn't give Taco Bell power, or maybe Taco Bell said we're not opening, whatever. McDonald's was the only thing with power because it had the most infrastructure, it had the most food stored, it had the most demand for the time. So the power company was literally like, okay, we're just going to leave McDonald's on. We're going to leave this one gas station, and everybody else is going to be off. So in retrospect, if I had went out to my meter where you have your line and your load, and everyone jokes about putting a wrench in between these two. It'll work, by the way. I probably had power on my line side. I probably had power, and my multimeter, not my multimeter, my actual meter was shut off so that my house could not get energized, because what they were doing, they were selecting loads on who was going to get what power. So if I had went out there and I had pulled the meter, I probably could have gotten some power and done some sketchy stuff. The thing is, when you're backfeeding on the grid, you got a transformer essentially here, right? And this side here, let's just say it's 6,000 volts, and it outputs to a 240, okay? If I backfeed a little bit of voltage from my house backwards by an accident, I don't shut off the main, I don't pull my meter, you're not going to get a lot of voltage out. I'm only going to be able to put out so much. So it's not like, it's not as bad as they say, about how you don't want to backfeed on the grid, but you are introducing power backwards to the grid if you do some sketchy stuff. So if you are going to backfeed your house, you want to make sure that your breakers are turned off, so you can't accidentally, send current backwards, or worse, the power all of a sudden turns on. You didn't turn off the main in your panel, for example. I don't like to advocate for mains. A lot of people say, hey, just shut off the main. The main, whenever we do shutdowns in a house, or not a house, a large building, anything over 100 amps, we would exercise the breaker, because there's springs inside there that need to get maintained. And every so often, sorry, I pushed on the phone. Every time you do a shutdown, we would want to exercise any breakers so that is that you messing with me? Yeah, you're messing with me. I couldn't figure out my finger.
You're thinking your finger is on my camera.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I was like, what? I don't have a finger there now.
No wonder you Sparkies are all so special.
Yeah, so you want to exercise any breaker over 100 amps, because the springs inside your breakers, they get used to being in a certain position, and all the heat and everything, and over the years, they don't like to reset. The spring just breaks. So anytime you throw the main on your panel, there's a chance it might not ever turn back on. So exercise with caution, know what you're doing whenever you're throwing your main. It is the safest thing to do, but might not be cost effective if you're only going to be off for a couple of hours.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go back over here.
Now, poor people ain't going to do any of that. Well, they might jump start the meter.
This is another thing that's good to have. This is a solar battery bank.
Yes.
It even has a wireless charger, has emergency flashlights, and USB-C and A, and it fast charges. This thing's awesome. $40 on Amazon, I think. We're gonna plug this in a second. We're gonna save this. We're gonna run a load on it and show you guys. But first, as somebody mentioned in the comments where we got this thing started, they bought one of these just in case. They understand it's not enough wattage. How much wattage is that? The top off. This is not the top off. This is the knockoff. This is the crap off.
I have it, but it's locked.
USB.
Away. Yeah, I have it, but it's locked away right now.
So I'll tell you this. This is 300 watts. Okay. And let's see what the peak is. It might tell us. It might not. 2 amps. 10.5 amps output, but that might be 300 watts peak. I can tell you right now, this did not have enough power to start my fan. So whenever I first decided that I was going to try to run my AC or whatever, whenever the power was off, put in the 40 volt battery, plugged in the extension cord. By the time the voltage drop was considered with the extension cord and the fan was trying to run, this thing was flashing red and green here saying overload. So this will not run a motor for your house.
Paul W.
It'll
said,
keep your phone charged, keep your laptop charged, all that stuff, but it's not going to be able to power other loads. The 4 battery DeWalt, the new Milwaukee one will, things like that. That's where this thing comes into play. So
Paul W. said the top off is 175 watts.
oh, that's garbage. That's not going to do anything for you. Don't count on that to help you out, other than probably plugging in your router so you don't go crazy because your kids are going to be crying. So you need internet, because internet is cable. It's fiber. It's phone line. It doesn't use voltage. And 911 has to maintain. So unless you're in a dire, like, apocalyptic scenario, you're going to have what AT&T likes to call dial tone. That's what they call it. When you go to that data center and you watch all of their orientations, all they care about is dial tone. And essentially, dial tone means that somebody can pick up a phone and dial 911. So all of your infrastructure for your low voltage phone, anything like that, is going to be up. There's the FCC mandates, and I know this because I used to actually work on them. There's data centers every 15 miles that power the cabling underneath of your you got your high voltage and you got your low voltage. Have you
Yeah.
ever seen those black boxes that look like cylinders on the phone cables? Okay, those are actually charged with air, and they put out a positive pressure outwards so no moisture can get inside. And there's multiple fan units all around the nation. There's infrastructure you guys don't even know about. They look like just brick buildings, but they are infrastructure with ATSs that have to be mandated every 3 years by the FCC. And that's a data center for the generators and the batteries that keep those fans running. That way, all the infrastructure stays up. So all that stuff is on battery backup. All that stuff is on generator backup. And so is your phone. So you're a plug away from internet, whether you know it or not.
I like it.
Yeah. All right.
But anybody, so Paul W. says he ran his fridge off his top off, and a small window fan ran on it, but the coffee maker would not.
Oh, the coffee maker is the hardest thing to run in your house. Quick story. Whenever I got my house, I didn't want to do too much. I didn't want to pull a permit. I needed to get into the house in a timely manner, because I literally had $15,000 on the line into the house before I owned it. So we were in a rush to get into this house. I put my multimeter in my panel on some wires to determine which side of the kitchen did I want to put my toaster on. And this is when I found out how much a coffee maker actually pulls. Now, your quick Keurigs that heat up in like less than 15 seconds, those things pull 20 amps for 15 seconds. They pull a whole circuit. Okay. I didn't know that. So I turned on the toaster, I turned on the coffee maker, and I turned on the disposal. And I went to my panel. I had 43 amps on my breaker. And I was like, why aren't we tripping? I was like,
Yeah.
Please trip. And it never tripped. So we ended up having to replace that panel and breakers and everything. It was old Federal. But yeah, so that's going to segue us into here about when breakers don't trip and why it's really important to have this, because the damage is already done by the time your breaker trips. But we're going to get into that in a second. Coffee makers pull a lot of amperage. Older style heat up a little bit slower. They're not pulling near the amperage. They don't have like a whole bunch of coils all heating at the same time to rapidly heat the water within 20, or hell, mine heats up in like 5 seconds actually. You're pulling a serious load with heat. Just keep in mind. This is an EcoFlow. Now I bought this for $250, and then I put a battery on the bottom of it. So this is a battery that these unscrew, and then you take the bottom off, and then you just pop this battery on it. It's like part of this whole thing, and it adds a total of 500 and something watts of lithium ion. Let me see here. It's
nice.
This is 600 watts here. So it's 250 plus 500 with the extra battery. And what that turns into is, I guess I could turn it around so you guys can read it. Let's see here.
Well, you can try.
There it is there, 576 watt hours. So at 28.8 volts. It's pretty good. So watt hours is essentially, that's how many watts I can run for 1 hour. And this thing's really cool because it'll tell you. Now this thing has been sitting for a whole year. I've used it a couple of times on live streams to keep
You're right, John.
lights and things charged, and I have not charged this. This thing plugs into the wall with the cord that it comes with, so
He'll be charging it tonight.
has the standard out like a TV would or a PlayStation, whatever. That's your 10 amp fuse, and then this is your solar input. So this is actually a 100 and something watt, completely portable, probably 120, completely portable.
Yeah, it could be.
It's 100. It's at least 100. Completely portable. Comes with all the cables. This was probably 150 by itself, I think. Maybe 200. I can't remember. And all your adapters. Those are USB freestanding, so you're going to have to plug this into here to get USB out, USB-C, fast charging. Well, is that 12 volts out? I believe that's 12 volts out. So you can do all kinds of things with that. Anything that will go in your car will plug in there. Off grid, completely off grid.
Hello, Rodney. Rodney Witcher is watching. He just can't comment tonight. So hello, Rodney.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
And Paul W says watts and amps are very similar, ones coming and ones going. The measurement system are totally different. I never understood why.
All right, so watts is your volts and your load to make your amps. So PIEIR. So I times E is P. So what is that? That'd be, yeah, I said that backwards. Ha. I and E, I times E. So voltage times your amperage makes your watts. There you go. There's also a roundabout way to do that, where you can take your ohms to figure out what your amperage is going to be based on your voltage. But that's a V2 square root thing.
It's called Google.
Nerd.
You just Google will do the conversion for you. You don't have to.
This says 99 hours. So this one actually has a readout. I actually really like this thing. It has really smart software. This thing will tell you, based on your input and your output, how much battery you have. This will actually change as you plug things in and out. It's really cool. So if I turn on this light, You'll see here we have 1 watt out instantly, maybe 1 watt out. And as far as this is concerned, this can run for 99 hours on 1 watt. Now, if we add something else to this, let's do let's charge this phone.
It is.
I'm gonna unplug this phone, put it in the fast charger. You see here, there we go. We're getting 15 watts out, 36 hours instantly. Now, this is actually probably going to go up closer to 40. There you go, 99. See, it's going to estimate it, but at the initial drop, it was like, oh, damn. At this rate, I'm going to be at this. But then after everything equalizes, it realizes, oh, hey, I can actually hang on to this for longer. That was part of that inrush that we were talking about. So we're charging at 6 watts, which doesn't sound like that much, but you got to do the math on that. You got to take 4.5 volts because that's what this USB is at. And you realize 6 watts is quite a bit for charging.
Yeah.
Most of your chargers are 3 watts. And your 10 watt chargers, like, sure they can, but your phones don't generally actually charge at that. You'd melt your battery if you're charging at 20 watts the whole time. It depends what your battery level is. It'll charge really fast if it's really low. If you're like 6%, it might charge at 20 watts for like 20 minutes, get you up to 40%, and then drop off to 10. So, but yeah, pretty cool stuff. So if we turn this light on with this, you're gonna see this is 7. That might jump to 8 depending on what it was. We jumped down to 78 hours. Let's give it a second.
Hold on. I've got to answer a question for Paul W. He said, I really want to make a smart comment about eating Google, but I can't put it together correctly. No, you can't eat Google. She gets all googly when I eat her.
Okay, so much for the
what are you talking about? Can't put it together.
yeah.
Amateur.
All right, I'm gonna get dang. Any help in monetization?
Oh, come on. That wasn't bad. That's not bad.
I'm gonna get a DeWalt charger here. Hang on a second.
Googly eyes, yes. Does it last longer if you have to do it pre-game mode before actually? I just want to know one thing. So I saw that Paul W said he was running a refrigerator off of an inverter, and
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's cold outside. Put the food in the trunk of your car. If it's snowing or you're getting ice, put a blanket over the trunk. And then when you need to get in it, pull the blanket. It's really easy, guys. It's what poor people do. That's why poor people come up with ingenious things like this.
Yeah.
You can
So,
put a cooler outside in the winter with stuff in it.
I actually took a bunch of stuff out of my fridge and put it outside when it was cold. You'll notice no ground. So there is no ground. It's that simple. No ground. So here you go. Turn that on.
Hey, I was just helping a dude out.
You can see that's turned on now.
Oh, it's got me turned on too.
And we are charging it at, looks like 90 watts here. And we can charge that for 6 hours. So if we can run a light for 15 hours, take 6 hours, whatever it is, this thing will charge in 15 minutes probably. It's good to estimate how much you got and how long your battery is going to last is the point. I'm not going to try to do math on stream. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yes.
But you do get the idea of how this thing calculates based on the load. So if I unplug this, this might go up to 10. Let's see. Let's see, it might not. It might It might not have been enough load to matter. 86, 85. No, I didn't care. It was like, you don't phase me. Now, this says 60 hertz on it. So what does that mean? I'll tell you what this means. This is why this is really important. You're talking about running your fridge, okay?
Hmm.
A lot of your newer fridges are really fancy ones that I see a lot of, that the door is part of the cabinetry. Some of those you don't want to be running on anything but 60 watts, 60 hertz. This inverter here is what you call a modified sine wave inverter. And the sine wave does this. So the sine wave, will this work as an eraser?
Sure. Although
Say-
you could just grab a piece of cloth.
We found an eraser, which is good news because that would have been terrible. All right, modified sine wave does this. There we go. That's more or less what a modified sine wave looks like. If that's essentially zero, you're not going to get any variable speed on a modified sine wave. You're going to be jacking up a lot of electronics on a modified sine wave.
Yeah.
Your general shaded pole, just piece of crap motors and stuff are going to be just fine. Your variable speed, very expensive air conditioner system that is also a heat pump is not going to like a modified sine wave. Your variable speed washer, clothes washer is not going to like a modified sine wave. Some battery chargers don't even like a modified sine wave. Sometimes you get a little bit of electrical noise if you're charging a DeWalt battery out of your car. You might get a little bit of electrical noise with it. So this actually puts out a true sine wave.
Very nice.
This is what I'm getting at there.
Yes, Jonathan. That
So
is
if we unplug this, instantly 0 watts, back up to 99 hours, we lost 1%. And that's completely off grid.
I like it.
Yeah.
It is a nice little thing. What is it? The EcoFlow River.
Yeah, and since I bought this, man, they've been coming out with they got a Delta one, pretty pricey, but you can put two of them together, parallel them together, and run some serious power out of the thing. They got a 240 volt, and this company actually has an off grid battery solution or something. Someone in our chat was mentioning it, and then we went online. I don't know if you remember, but this is that same company. So they've stepped it up pretty good lately. And then yeah, this is the cable. So it comes with this cable. This cable plugs in there, and then that's MC4. So this will go in anything that's essentially solar.
Yes.
Yeah, and MC4 is the golden standard, and this is a true MC4, not a fake MC4.
Not like the one you cobble together in your closet.
No, those are true MC4s too. I've never made my own MC4 connector.
Oh, all right.
I've only ever bought. But hey, the thing in my closet, man, I made that in the dark when it was 14 degrees in the house when all the pipes were trying to freeze. Actually, the pipes did freeze. I had to massage the flexible hose to my water heater and break the ice chunks out of it. I got it just in time to get hot water into my shower. Like everything is literally frozen over.
So poor people, I'm going to refer to this because I spent most of my life as poor. And what poor people do is when it is time, like when it's cold out or whatever, what we like to do is we'll take little space heaters and we will put them where the pipes run nearest the wall, the outside wall, typically in your kitchen. And you put those in the cabinets and it will keep your pipes from freezing. So you don't have to worry about it. And any pipe that's on the outside, you can take old t-shirts and wrap the pipe with old t-shirts and duct tape, and it'll keep the pipe warm enough that you don't have to worry about it. And you get those little foam blocks for the outside spigot that also keep your pipes from breaking or freezing when you're in cold weather.
Yeah.
My solution costs about $30 round trip.
Yeah, the thing is, man, no one ever thought that it was ever going to get this cold in Texas. So majority of your contractors, if you didn't pull a permit, your contractor didn't go below the frost line because they didn't feel that it was ever necessary. And let's be honest, anytime you've had the inspector and he's inspected your ditch, it's never been deep enough. It's like
Yeah, I'm sure the inspector inspected your ditch and it
yeah,
wasn't deep enough.
yeah, yeah, true story there.
Wow. Wow. And yes, MC4 is the standard. So
Yeah, MC4 is. I'm trying to find an extension cord that is not plugged into those lights. If we do turn off these lights, how much light do we lose?
I don't know. I can also tell you guys that if you don't have power and you have a gas stove,
Dang,
you
we lose a
have
lot of light.
heat. You have heat in your house. And if we're all tool guys, so we probably all have a cordless fan.
Yeah,
You can just take a cordless fan, set it up out by your stovetop, and
yeah,
it'll heat enough of at least your kitchen, your dining room, or however your house is built, so that you can get through even the worst of storms. And you'll probably be pretty toasty because it doesn't have a regulator on it to shut it off.
yeah,
Hang up blankets in rooms that you're not going to use. Shut the vents in those rooms, and you can get through any storm if you're poor. I'm serious. I've watched dudes in New York City put a box over a sewer grate or a sewer grate because the steam will go up into the box and it'll keep them warm.
yeah. So you prefer the steam in your box?
I do prefer the steam in my box.
Dang it, dude! This thing is not going to work for us. Let me see how we're going to do this because this does not have a ground prong.
Oh, that sucks to be you. If
Yeah.
only there was like a little gray 98-cent deal that you could circumvent that.
If only. Yeah, dang it. Hang on. Let me see if we got another extension cord.
That inspector was big because he's never not been deep enough before. $1 million idea, steam in a box.
Steam in a box.
I deal with that all the time here in Southern Arizona. Oh my goodness.
What are we? How do I not have an extension cord, man? Extension cords are evil, so I don't like them. I don't have any extra.
The eggplants resemble raisins in Arizona.
We have another extension cord. We just have a whole bunch of like useless sized extension cords.
That's not going to work either.
No, this will work. This will work because the plug is right here. See?
Yeah.
See, it's not going to be ideal, but it will work.
What's up, Eek? East Coast Ken is here. How you doing?
There we go. So now we have the there's the voltage, and for some reason it says, oh no, that's wattage. I was going to say. There's the voltage. We got 125.53. Very accurate tool here. What we're going to do, we're going to plug in this battery charger, which we determined pulled about 90 watts, 89, something like that.
I don't know.
Let's see. First off, crap, it's already charged. Might not pull anything.
Use a different battery.
Yeah, let's see. 1.18 amps, 85 watts. There you go. So this tool here, without having a multimeter, you can just plug things directly. You have your power factor. Power factor.
Uh-huh.
Your kilowatt hours. There you go. Your the hell is that? M? Your M. I don't know what M is. Whatever that is.
Okay.
Your hertz, 59.97. And back to your voltage. So this thing has a lot of info without needing to get a multimeter and a line splitter. And has your wattage already on there for you, so you don't have to divide your volts by your amps to figure it out.
I like that.
Yeah.
No derision.
Yeah. So yeah, you would be able to determine, for example, your fridge. You wouldn't even have to be a power outage. You already just, or you could read the nameplate of your fridge. That's what they're literally there for. But if you weren't sure how much something was pulling,
No one ever reads that shit.
well, here's a good example. I had to use my line splitter to make sure I wasn't going to overload my circuit, because you don't really know what your air conditioner pulls in your attic. You don't know how many amps that fan is.
That's true.
So I was able to, I didn't have this at the time. I had this and this. I was able to determine what did I need? How many watts did I need of a power inverter to buy to run, the fridge, the freezer, a couple of lights, and my heater in my house. So, yeah. What else, man? That went a little bit too smooth.
They do. They do
We
have
forgot
nameplates.
something, right? Did we forget anything? We didn't forget anything.
No, I mean,
Awesome.
so
I picked this up just for somebody. I don't remember who it was, but somebody asked me, what's the difference? And I guess I'll make a video on it soon to show you. Also got some other videos coming up, but we can do a health update.
we should always do a health update.
Let's see here. Switch to-
Panther, man, that's messed up. Belt clips? You're gonna comment belt clips? I don't know what he did. Okay, now you're ridiculous. Like, we're getting some background now.
No, you shouldn't get any background. Oh,
Alright, guys, just leave it in the chat. Can you hear extra?
you can't hear extra. There's no way.
It's not echo, but we're picking up background noise.
Oh, we just got to get you off the stream.
Oh, I was relaxing.
I probably fixed it.
There you go. You hit mute, it sounds much better now. Oh,
Fridge has nameplate like, hello, my name is.
yes.
Yeah.
So
This guy has 1,000 outlets in his shop and he's still playing with 1 foot extension cord. Hey, that's all. Oh, well, yeah. And in comparison to what I've got, all I've got is a 1 foot extension cord.
which is funny because your wife says this is 1 foot.
I mean, I work with what I got.
No. So here's what I was gonna say. So I actually happen to have several different types of heater, none of which take electric, or they are battery operated. Hello, Renegades.
How's it going?
And those will, if you're safe, if you're careful, they can warm you up. They are not made to be indoors all the time, so don't use them indoors all the time. But to take the chill off for a few minutes, you're good. there's my thing on that. There are several different ways that you can. First of all, I saw you guys were talking about coffee maker. You guys do know that it's boiled water with coffee grounds in it, right? So you could literally just boil water on your stove while heating your house and then strain it through a filter,
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry about it. So there's your coffee fix for all you folks that are worried about coffee. The stove is the best thing. Now, if for some reason,
I'm listening. I got to find a code book real quick.
take-
Just got to ask
if
the
for
question.
some reason your pipes freeze and you don't have a space heater, it is possible to unfreeze your pipes using a dryer. All you'd have to do is run your exhaust pipe for your dryer down underneath your cabinets or where the pipes are frozen. Turn your dryer on, and that'll unfreeze your pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can also, there is tape that you can buy that will begin to heat your pipes when it's cold.
This is feeder. Yeah. Hang on. I'm looking for a thing. This is a 14 book, man. It's been a
Hey,
minute
there you
since
go.
I found this code. We are looking for. There it is, right there.
Like using a percolator on a stove. Never heard of it. I know. It's just the strangest thing.
I'm actually going to. I'm going to put up.
You can also make coffee in a teapot.
You
got
can
one of
make
those little-
coffee in a teapot.
You can just put it in pretty easy. You got one of those little round balls. You can put your coffee grounds in there, and you can make coffee with a teapot. So there's a whole bunch of ways to make coffee.
I'm going to jump back in here on my phone so we can get a close up, and then I'm going to take myself off of here. So,
all right. And now, other tricks that poor people will use: putting cardboard up on your windows will act as an extra insulation if you don't have good windows. Actually, act as extra insulation on your windows so that you can keep some of that extra dissipation from going out. Some of that whatnot. I don't know why we're just got me on here, but there you go. He told me.
I'm going to add me on the phone. Hang on. I'm going to answer
Alright.
this question.
Wrap pipes, like you said earlier. Dad taught me that early on. Still, yeah. You can also take grass, not the kind that a lot of you guys smoke. You can get the grass from outside, and you can use that as insulation as well. There's a lot of things just laying around.
Hang on. I messed up.
So did your parents.
Okay. Is the audio on? Yeah. Okay. So this is permissible loads, individual branch circuits. An individual branch circuit shall be permitted to supply any load for which it is rated, but in no case shall the load exceed the branch circuit ampere rating. Okay. This is table 210.21B3, receptacle ratings for various size circuits. So this is literally your circuit ratings here. That's going to be your breakers. And then you got your receptacle ratings. So the question was, I've got something on my screen here. Hang on. I can't read the question.
I also suggest going out and buying thermal rated sleeping bags. So if you're out of power for an extended period of time, you can all move into one room, heat the one room, and sleep in sleeping bags and stay warm.
Yep.
That's what poor people been doing this stuff for years. I got poor. I know poor.
All right. So someone works that it'd be better to upgrade to 20 amp outlets. That's correct. I'm going to show you why we should call them receptacles here in a second. But enough of that. Okay. Example: outlet devices. See, an outlet can be, the definition of an outlet is the power utilization equipment for where it's being drawn from. Anyway, okay, here we go. Receptacles. If you got a 15 amp circuit, you cannot put a 20 amp receptacle on it for the exact reason you said. So, I said I don't think so because people might assume the circuit is rated. Yeah, exactly. If you got a 15 amp breaker feeding your circuit, you can't put more than a 15 amp receptacle on there.
That's true.
If you got a 20 amp breaker, which actually, man, I've seen a lot of houses surprisingly wired in 14 lately. And it's not surprising with the climate of what's going on. But the other day, like, it's funny, man. Someone will say something to me, and you'll question everything you know. They'll ask you something, and you'll be like, "Wait a second, what?" Like and they're so sure of themselves, and you know they're wrong, but you got to call your coworker, and they're like, "Hey, man, I've been calling this for years. Like, is that right?" And he's like, "No, you have it right." I was like, "I knew it." So, yeah, just
wait. People say things to you that make you doubt yourself.
Oh yeah, dudes. They'll look at you. They'll be like, they'll be so sure too. They'll be like, oh man, I don't want to call somebody out. I'm trying to think.
I did say hi to you, Renegade. I don't know if you heard me, but I did say hi to you.
No, okay, I won't get myself in trouble. An apartment complex. Yeah, no specifics. An apartment complex was changing out. I got to get rid of that. I can. Hang on. Whoa.
Rodney Woodger is here.
An apartment complex was changing out their fire pump controller, and your fire pump goes down with the ship. So they directly wire that thing to the transformer that feeds the whole place. Or if they do hit a breaker, that breaker's got to be rated 8 times the what the wire's rated for to make damn sure the breaker never trips. So I can actually show you that in here. If we look over here into emergency systems here, critical 7, it should be 705. It's interconnected. 700 is emergency. There we go. 700, and then we go here to the hang on. That's really hard.
I'm going to ask you guys if you know, because Jonathan Sherwood just said this. I have a large worn out bath towel that I put on my windshield. That way I don't have to run the vehicle to defrost the windshield in the morning. Did you know you do not want to have your defroster on in very cold weather first? You actually want to heat up the interior of your car first before you turn on the defrost. Otherwise, you could crack your windshield. That's nice. Yep. People in Buffalo know.
A worn out bath towel that I put on my windshield that way.
I mean, if only I had just read that.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't listening. But I was listening, but I didn't catch all of it.
Yeah, I actually have something that goes.
I've got a remote starter. I'm very spoiled, I guess you would say.
Remote starters typically do not start your defroster.
So the newer cars they do, and they start the heated seats. But yes, you are correct. But the heater turns on, and then it kind of defrosts anyway.
Yes. You actually want to bring up the temperature inside of the vehicle before you turn on your defroster. Or else the sudden and rapid change will cause the glass to break along its weakest link.
Yeah. So, see if I can find it here. Cannot find it. This is the feeder. Yeah. So if you run a breaker to a fire pump, let me make sure I found it here. That's fire pump.
Rodney, you're only saying that because you don't have a defroster. Your Flintstone mobile doesn't even have a floor.
There it is there. So overcurrent protected device shall be rated to carry indefinitely the sum of the locked rotor current. Now, the sum of the locked rotor current is a hell of a lot of current. So most fire pumps are 200 amps. So lock rotor, 5 times the rated run. You know what I mean? You're looking at like thousands of amps. So that's how serious they are about making sure that the thing goes down with the ship. They do not want that breaker to ever trip. Yeah, we did it. We will.
What
Let's
were we
look
talking
at.
about?
We were talking about fire pumps. Hang on. And now we're going to look at outlets because apparently I'm a nerd. So, outlet, a point on the wiring system of which current is taken to supply utilization equipment. It's almost verbatim there.
Yeah, it's like
Crazy.
plug stuff into this.
Yeah, so the term is used to refer to receptacles, although receptacle outlets are outlets and not outlets are receptacle outlets. Other common examples of outlets include lighting outlets and smoke alarm outlets. Here you go. That's why you hear me say receptacle all the time, because freaking nerd.
Yeah. Rodney, it's not so much that you shouldn't have told me that your birth certificate was etched in stone. You didn't have to tell me that it was hieroglyphics. Cave paintings and stuff.
My phone froze.
Yeah. At least it caught you smiling. There you go. Oh,
Yeah, I think
oh, it froze again. Adventures in camera etiquette here.
I keep pushing a button or something every time I switch to the front.
Mm.
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do before we get off
Aren't
of
you
here?
supposed to pull the button when you switch to the front?
No,
In
no,
like a
no,
general,
no,
no?
no, no, certainly not. Mistaken there. Your health update, sir.
I ain't dead yet.
Okay, that's his update. My update is that I potentially consult with the surgeon finally.
I
So,
just want you to
long
know
story short.
you broke up for almost all of that.
Oh, good, good. I've got a consult for a surgeon for my gallbladder. So I don't have anything scheduled yet, but at least I've gotten permission to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction, which I guess is something. We're gonna count it as a win, but man, it's not looking. I'm gonna just crap away my deductible. I guess I'm not gonna be able to use it for anything. It's just gonna be wasted this year.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the last time I had surgery on the same thing that's going wrong with me now was $750,000 total cost.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
Which, by the way, if you're on independent insurance,
yeah.
drop you the next year.
Oh, very nice. Good to know.
That's why it's better to be in group insurance.
I actually remembered to pull up the stats for this one.
We're still on.
Yeah, I know, but I actually remembered to pull up the stat. That's why it's so important. So you forget to pull up the stats, and then you leave alive, and then you don't know what your stats were.
Not all of us.
Okay, I forget.
Yeah, some of us keep them up
Yeah.
just in case. Like have multiple monitors and stuff just to keep things up.
Well, some of us don't. How about that? Where you say that?
That's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, I think that's all I got for tonight.
And if you guys want, I'll be doing tips for the poor on Facebook or Instagram or someplace. I don't know.
That's when he gives the poor the tip.
Yeah, I walk over to him and be like, "Hey, tip number 1: don't be poor."
I meant the tip.
What'd you
Just the
do?
tip.
What'd you do to the tip?
Yeah, just the tip.
That's what I thought.
That's your new segment. It's called Just the Tip.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
You know what? You've inspired me.
You know
Tomorrow,
what? We're gonna end this podcast right now before you finish your
no,
sentence.
tomorrow I am going to have a new video out called Just the Tip, and it's going to be a torque testing video.
There you go. Do it. I can't do that. I've got too many family members that watch.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just
What's
the
Paul
tip.
W saying there? He's got is a 750K, probably 1K in
10,
Mexico.
10K.
10K. A friend of mine needs dental work for the price of comparison. Unbelievable. Oh wow. Yeah.
And the best part is I had 20% co-insurance with no deductible. So it's just a straight 20%.
Yeah, but you had a max out of pocket, right?
No.
Oh,
However,
why not? All plans don't have
Because-
max out of pocket.
no.
Oh.
Not all plans. But I will tell you this. One of us knows enough about insurance that they didn't have to pay anything.
Oh, I see.
I'm not saying who.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I actually
We're pretty good at that.
the reason I didn't is
We
because
do that again, and I'm going to do this.
the reason I did that is because I have supplemental health insurance that pays down my deductible 20%.
Oh, okay. There you
Which is
go.
why I'm not worried about maximum out of pocket.
Well, that's good. Yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. You doing something?
Oh, Sunday, we're going to be. I'm going to be live Sunday. I am going to. I am Merry Christmas, Jack.
What's up, Jack?
I am going to be testing the Cobalt XTR versus the Rigid. There may be a surprise or two that I'm going to throw in there. You guys will have to watch my channel the rest of the week to find out what that surprise is. So there's that. And then I'm also going to be testing the 12-volt Hyper Tough ratchet against the Husky ratchet and a battle of the budget 12-volt tools to see which one's better. And who knows what else is coming up, but we're going to have a bunch of stuff to do on Sunday, and it's going to be a total of 7 degrees below zero when I go live Sunday.
Below zero, yeah. That's
It's chilly.
It sounds like it's gonna be a loud stream. You better freeze for it. No one wants to hear that heater.
Oh, I'll be able to get it even at 7 degrees. I use my Rigid propane heater. And last year we had at this time last year, I think it was -1 or -2 degrees. And letting that Rigid propane heater run for about 20-30 minutes, it was up to 70 degrees in this room.
Oh yeah.
So it's a phenomenal heater.
And that's when the brain cells went. It all makes sense now.
It is permanent battery. Yeah, that's well, actually the brain cells started going the day I met you and started talking to you, and they haven't recovered since.
I mean, that's fair too. That is a side effect of meeting me. So
yeah, And
That's right.
Rodney, the whole country might be in a blizzard Sunday. That's Thursday, and Rudolph has told me that he will be able to get us through any storm and get our presents. So
The battery in that Husky is permanent. Yeah, you already said that. Now I know what you're talking about.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
I do an amazing job of
Yeah.
keeping up with the comments.
Yeah. I look at them every once in a while. Right there. They're right there
Yes,
and there.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna. So that's what we'll be doing. And maybe you guys will talk me into cutting some wood with my rigid saw over there. I don't know.
There you go.
I'm not saying I'm in love with that saw.
Yeah, you won't shut up about it. I mean, it's a nice saw. It's a nice saw.
What do you mean I won't shut up about it? How jealous are you? What are you sporting over there? What's your miter saw?
You want to see? You want to see my miter saw?
Yes.
Hang on. Just show you my miter saw. You can make me move a lot of stuff. Hang on.
Man, I have a snow thrower. Actually, I got to get it out because it's under my back porch. I've left it there for the last 3 or 4 years. I only used it twice.
This thing's $20 at Home Depot.
And it'll take you 2.5 hours to put together.
Yeah, I decided not to put it on stream.
But he will call me and make me watch him do it. Wow. One. A bit nipply on Sunday, just a tad. We're gonna try to hurry up on Sunday because I know it's Christmas Day and everybody wants to do whatever. What's up, Roberts? How's Tactics doing? He's fine. He's gonna go see the gynecologist about the baby soon, and
Yeah.
they're thinking about doing a cesarean soon.
Yeah. That's probably the better method because last time squeezing that thing out just wasn't fun. So
Yeah, he gave birth to an attorney. You know how you can tell? It's a butthole baby.
there's my miter saw.
Yeah, that is not a miter, but cool.
Yeah.
That is a radial arm saw from Craftsman.
Yeah.
That
there you go.
That is a 1980 something model.
It works pretty good when it's all set up, but like I said before, man, whenever I went to go get this, my one request was the guy not to move anything, right? He was like, it's set to trenching, it trenches evenly, everything's level, and it cuts at 90. And I was like, cool, that's all I want. I don't want any other feature. And then when I got there, he unlocked it and put it every which way, and it was never the same. This thing is about to kill me.
I'm just saying,
Hang on.
it is so easy to get those things back to square.
Yeah.
All you need is a speed square.
Yeah.
The radial arm saw is by far, or it was, I don't know about now, but it was my favorite saw. I used to rip plywood sheets with it. They used to cross cut entire sheet goods with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like my door is just some sheetrock and 2x4s.
Yeah.
And it's on some wheels that just go this way.
Yeah.
And then on the back side, it's foam and for noise because my vacuum and 80-gallon air compressor in the corner.
Very nice.
Yeah. And it slides pretty good.
That reminds me, I've got to close my my compressor. The relief valve. I opened it the other day and never got back to shutting it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I drained the tank.
My little girl made fun of my turkey the other day. I wasn't. She was giggling about it too. She was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "You know what that is? You make them all the time." She was like, "Yeah, you're supposed to close your fingers and hold the thumb out." And then she said, "You know how to fix it?" You know how she told me to fix it?
How?
She said, "You just need to add more fingers."
That's a smart girl.
I was like, "Then it's not a hand turkey." And she's like, "Yeah, you just add more fingers." I'm like, "That's not how that works."
Jonathan just ripped you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was beautiful.
Said no one on this stream. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't build this house.
No, but you built that wall.
I built this wall. Oh yeah, the moving wall. Yeah.
And you know what he didn't use?
Uh,
He didn't use his stud master.
well, I didn't have the stud. I would have used a stud master.
I'll
actually, I datoed out. That door is actually built pretty good. It's
Yeah.
actually got a
Two-handed
cross
turkey.
member, and yeah, it's that door is actually pretty good.
It looks solidly built there.
It's not bad. It's stood there for about 2 years now, rolling. So
I'm
there's
uh,
there's something.
I will say this now that this is how much a tool, just one tool, can make you think of different projects and make you look forward to doing things. And I know it sounds weird, but we're all tool guys, so we get it. People outside of the tool world might not.
Yeah.
I have for the last several years been looking and contemplating replacing my front door on my house because in the summertime it swells, and it's because we don't have a storm door. We have a big porch. It's 12-foot porch. It's actually 12 by 16. So it's a good sized porch and it's completely covered. But in the summer here, the door swells. So having a storm door would actually help. So because I got that miter saw, I'm like, I'm gonna be making some stiles and rails, and I'm
I
gonna make
can make a whole
my own door.
door. Huh?
I'm gonna make my own door.
There you go.
And it's just because before I had a miter saw, but it wasn't
Nice.
fun to use.
Yeah. There you go. The nice one.
You know, it was just like there, and I'd be like, eh.
Yeah.
That is not the only thing that swells. My wife has an amazing rack, and if yeah,
What's it
things
doing
swell.
swelling? What are you doing over there? Is it an
I
ocean?
just I just saying it's just amazing what she's got. No, but no, we get a lot of storms, a lot of moisture in the spring and the summer, so the door swells. But I'm like, man, I'm honestly thinking I'll just make my own storm door. I've got another house down the way that my son just recently ripped the storm door off of it. It
Nice.
actually had one. He ripped it off because he and his friends are stupid.
Where is it now?
Oh, he laid it on the porch.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm like,
It probably just got in the way. I mean,
yeah, probably doing stupid things.
you just don't understand the mentality of
So
yeah.
I'm thinking like maybe this spring when it gets a little warmer and it's not insanely hot out, I'll go to Menards, not to Home Depot and not to Lowe's, but Menards, and I will get some really nice. They have like exotic woods there on the shelf, and I'll be buying some really nice wood, or I'll go to the mill and I'll have some kiln dried for me, and I'll be making my own doors. And maybe, I don't know, I haven't decided whether I put it on camera or not. But it's definitely a project. They're super easy to make. Like
You
if
should do it live and then make sure you do a cut. And
first of all, no, it takes like, I mean, just to get everything squared away and whatnot, it'll take several hours.
no, I mean like get it all cut, and then when you start putting the styles in the and then together. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean the hardest part is what? Just running the tongue and groove.
Yeah.
That'll be the hardest part, and for that I don't. I watch this Irish guy. He's on YouTube. He's on TikTok. He's on Instagram, but I mainly watch him on TikTok. He's Irish. He uses old hand tools. There are several different hand tools that I haven't touched in years because I always go with power tools. But I'm thinking for like one of these projects, maybe
Maybe some hand tools on it. That's cool.
yeah, just get that old timey, get into the real woodworking like back in the day and just kind of experience it. I can run it on a router table and it'd be fine and it wouldn't take nearly as long. But at the end of the day, you just don't get that love with like you don't the project if you don't use the hand tools, if you don't get in there and actually get your
Yeah,
hand on it and
there's
feel it.
you should tend to be a little bit more careful too with your hand tools too, than less mistakes because you're doing have a lot more measuring to make sure before you go to the lengths to do something because it takes so long, whereas you just make that cut and you're like, oh, I cut it twice and it's still too freaking short, and you're like, what's going on?
Right. No,
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun. It just take forever, but at the end of the day, I mean, like that walnut bench that I made turned out really nice. I made some red oak cabinets for the other house, and a lot of those things were done like over weeks of time, not just a few minutes. Like putting the legs on that walnut table, that didn't take any time.
Yeah.
Mainly because I didn't really want a coffee table, but so I didn't really give a how the legs looked. But I
Yeah.
want to, I want to I want to do some more of that stuff, but I'm a power tool channel. I'm not a woodworking channel. So the debate whether I do any of that stuff on camera or off, that rages, but we'll see. And then
Yeah, you should bring back
surgery.
you should bring back the old school tools on your
I used to love it, but nobody would watch. So I quit doing it.
you should bring it back for old time's sake. Just for Christmas.
Oh. Well, we've got stuff booked until from now to Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
As far as Thursday, Rodney was asking about Thursday. I don't know, man. It's day by day. I don't even know if I'm gonna work tomorrow. I feel okay now, but in the morning, man, it's bad. It takes me a long time. I went to the doctor this morning, feeling pretty bad, and then when they checked my blood pressure, it was like 105, and I was like, "That's why I've been dizzy all the time." So,
I would tell you to take more vitamin D, but I don't think your body can handle more D.
I got all the D I can take.
You can you're taking all the D you can get. I don't know if it's all you can
thing's
take.
just been crazy. So sometimes the other morning I was leaving the office and I was trying to play it off, and my foot drugged the floor. I had to look at my friend. And I was like, "Oh, put a lump in the floor over there." And he was like, "Dude, you should go home." I'm like, "No, man, I'm good. I'm just gonna get this day over with."
Yeah.
I hate to be that person that doesn't come in and everyone else has to do your load. That sucks.
I feel your pain. I do. Man,
Yeah.
I'll get a rip cut. And a cross cut hand saw. Maybe I'll just show people how to use those two things.
Yeah, Paul W says video edit it and fast forward, make a video after not alive. Yeah, I will. Probably.
My wife needs me to make more vitamin C.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what the C is, but figure it out.
Okay.
The funny thing is, between now and the spring, I too will probably have some kind of surgery. So we'll see. They've got to scan my abdomen to find out how big the tumors are, but they're going to, and then they're going to see.
Yeah.
But the doctor's already told me we're going to have surgery. We just don't know when. If I can hold it off for a year, I will.
Right on.
If they're massive, I'll have to go in like 2 weeks. So,
Well, we'll just have to keep praying for you.
no, I appreciate it. No, this is stuff that I have lived through already. So I don't sweat it. It'll just make my Alzheimer's worse.
Yeah.
Which could be fun. I'm seriously, you guys have not seen me with an episode of Alzheimer's, but it is fun. It's adventures. You do know that you're on mute, right?
Yeah, is that better? It's better now, right?
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. I can hear you, so I was able to figure it out.
Well, that's because I have this amazing voice that people love to hate.
No, it's just because this light wasn't on.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're telling me,
No rainbow, no sound.
right? But you have that in the room with you. You didn't know.
No, I did know. That's why I reached over there and I touched it.
I'm across multiple states from you, and I tell you that you're on mute.
Put it back. It sounded better before. Yeah. This phone does a way better job on audio and video than this laptop ever could.
That's true.
I was
Yes,
letting
he
you guys
was.
out. Yeah.
Yes, he was. He didn't want us to hear it splatter.
Did we really miss much? But no, he didn't miss anything. Man, I think we're gonna get out of here. Yeah, if you guys got more code questions or something, hit me up in the comments. But we're gonna get out of here. I don't know what I'm doing Thursday. It's day by day at this point. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna try to give you more than 30 minutes of notice if we go live. I went from one doctor to another doctor today because my blood pressure concerned me. But I don't know, it fixed itself by the time we got to the other doctor. So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely be praying for you, and we hope the C-section goes well.
Yeah. I'll let you guys know what we're gonna do. They said I could just walk in the hospital and fake it. I mean, I've got enough pain to not fake it, but it wouldn't be like an emergency, but it would cover my deductible. That'd be just while you're like, just kill.
Not if they. I'll tell you this: they're gonna hold you off until the first of the year.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Because the conspiracy paid to do it. They're like, no. We need more money.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so your deductible kicks back in. So your health insurance, they'll send over the referral. Your health insurance will get back to them after the first of the year saying, go ahead.
Yeah. They're going to hang on to it.
Because that offset on the health insurance, it does save them a little bit of money.
Unless we just go in there just crawling on the floor and be like, get this thing out of me. It's kicking.
Have a good one, Jack.
We'll see you guys later.
Take it easy, y'all. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. No offense.
Was that towards Juan? That wasn't very nice.